In Book 20, Odysseus settles down and decides to sleep in front of Penelope's bedroom door. That night, Penelope and Odysseus both have trouble sleeping. After a while, Odysseus sees a group of his women, his maids, laughing while they leave their rooms to go sleep with the suitors. Odysseus is enraged by the fact that his maids have betrayed him, but he doesn't say a word, and instead tries to calm himself by muttering to himself, "Down, be steady." He tries to calm down by telling himself that he's seen worse, like when the time the Cyclops ate his men. During the night, Athena arrives and stands over Odysseus. She gives him an encouraging speech about how close he is to reuniting with his family, while Penelope weeps. Odysseus attentively listens, but doubts himself. Athena reassures him that he will be taken care of, and that he will soon see better days. Later, Penelope prays for death because she wishes to be with Odysseus, who she believes is in the underworld. She prays for her own death because she is heartbroken that Odysseus has not yet returned. She then dreams of Odysseus, who seems so real, but then she remembers that it is not reality. Odysseus then wakes at dawn and prays to Zeus. He asks for a sign that he is meant to be home. After the prayer, Zeus answers Odysseus by sending down a clap of cloudless thunder that Odysseus can clearly hear. Odysseus is relieved at the sign and glad that he is supposed to be home. After a while, Telemachus orders the maids to prepare a feast and tells them that today is a holiday. He then decides to check in with Odysseus. The maids went to go do as they were told, leaving Odysseus and Telemachus to have a talk. Melanthius then appears and looks at Odysseus. He begins by telling him to leave. He then continues to threaten him. Odysseus chose not to respond to Melanthius. Afterwards, Philetius approaches the disguised beggar, Odysseus, and warmly greets him. Eumaeus then joins the men, and the beggar asks Eumaeus and Philetius if they would join Odysseus to fight against the suitors if he returns to Ithaca. Both of the men say yes. At breakfast, Telemachus seats himself opposite of Odysseus, the beggar, and provides him with his own share of food and goblet of wine. Everyone then finds out that the holiday that Telemachus was talking about was really a day of sacrifice to Apollo. Everything at breakfast seemed to be quiet and peaceful at first, but Athena didn't want to restrain the suitors from their words and actions against Odysseus. One by one, the suitors began to taunt him, and one suitor, Thesippus, manages to grab a cowfoot and throws it at Odysseus. Odysseus ducks, and Telemachus rushes to his defense. Moments later, another suitor, Agelaus, gets everyone's attention by asking who's going to marry Penelope, since it's obvious that Odysseus isn't going to come back. Telemachus replies to him by saying that he will never allow his mother to marry any of them. Athena makes his response very funny to the suitors, because she wants to see conflict. Theoclymenus then has a very dark and depressing vision, and he tells the suitors that he sees their faces, crimson blood, and shades all around them. He tells the suitors this in hopes that they'll stop laughing, but they laugh at him too. Telemachus is very annoyed at this point, but tries to ignore the suitors, knowing that there will be death for them coming soon.
So, how does Book 20 connect to our world today? Well, this is Odysseus getting ready to leave to Troy to fight in the Trojan War. More than 20 years later, Penelope is still depressed back home missing her dear Odysseus. And sorry for that rough drawing of Penelope. My first one was way better, but it's okay. Anyway, moving on. How does this example from Book 20 connect to our world today? You might still be wondering. Well, a good example would be our American soldiers today. Our troops still get ready and leave to war. And just like what happened with Odysseus leaving Penelope behind, our troops sadly have to do the same with their loved ones. But hopefully, after the war's over, they all get reunited and live a happy life. The end.